movie wise is that me and my boyfriend over here, we went to go see Wakanda Forever last week, and we got some thoughts. We got some thoughts about it. Now we didn't really get a chance to talk about it when we left the theater. No. We always have high hopes when we say
to digest things. That's why I'm not good talking about it right afterwards.
Well, this is what's good is that, when we do we say, oh, we're gonna go see this movie. We're giving it a week to digest.
Yes.
I've thought about it. I've watched all my YouTube channels of the ones I respect and their opinions on it and what they thought. And, after a week has gone by, but I'll let you start because I'm interested to see what you thought of it.
First off, it's got a 0 rewatchability for me. I'm never going to rewatch that unless I really, really have to. Like, going through and rewatching all the Marvel shit.
Yeah. I mean, Phase 4 in general there's no real rewatchability. I haven't rewatched any. Maybe I saw Multiverse of Madness a second time only because it came out on Disney Plus, and I was like, all right. But like Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't go see in the theater.
Let's put it this way: I might put some of it on to rewatch, so I can go to sleep.
Oh wow! So what?
Yeah, I don't care. They didn't make me care enough. Here's one of my problems with it. It was a good movie. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not even gonna pretend. I did like when they do the little spoilers, people, because
we're gonna spoil.
What are we
the
like
Jesus
a fucking?
Out of it.
Where's my little? We're like a fucking week out.
Yeah. Oh, we almost went to the extended version. Oh, you cheese up and you eat your mush.
Look, so when they bring out his son at the end and they're like, this is his son, and then they tell you his name, like, of course, like, I'm like, like, rolling a tear. It's like very sad. When they do the little thing, like the homage to him where they're showing like, when they were doing like the little scenes of him from the old movies.
Yeah. I mean, that whole beginning of that movie where,
she's trying to save him.
Well, yeah, she's trying to save him. And, I heard somebody talk about like, oh, what he did, okay, so they start the movie, he's dying.
Right.
Of some illness. Okay, we don't know what illness it is.
Mystery.
But she's trying to figure it out, and somebody was like, well, they have that healing plan. It's like, no, Dick fucking Killmonger burned all that shit. Yep. Even the Black Panther.
They had one that they stole, but that's how he got his Black Panther powers back.
Yep.
Was that one flower.
Yeah, everything else is gone. So she's trying to recreate that healing thing, and it's not working, and she's under the gun, and then next thing you know, but that old opening where they made it all Chadwick, and it was dead silence. Yeah. And a lot, I've heard a lot of people talk about going to see this movie in the theater and like dead silence.
Yep.
Now, I think when we saw it, we did have a bunch of young kids behind us. But we did go to a matinee, and we went as seniors.
Well, and here's, again, I feel like I always point out the problems, but it was a good story. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was too friggin' busy. There's too many things. They never took the time to really develop any one like storyline or character, and you gave me too many characters at once. I'm like, and I get it. They're using it to set up all this other shit. I'm trying to remember her name.
Ironheart. A lot of people
Ironheart.
had problems with that, where it was like, you're really just putting us in to
exactly.
promote that
What does
show.
she do? She's not. They don't need her. She's not.
Yeah, it was some sort of. Yeah, I mean,
I get it drove the plot that they were after her because she built the machine that could detect,
the vibranium. Or
who cares?
Yeah, it was just something to push this. I mean,
it was.
I will say about the movie is that, you got to give big ups to Ryan Coogler. I mean, he had a whole script done, ready to go for Chadwick, and he passes, and he had to basically start from scratch.
Sure.
And he was given the task of, like, how do I make a Black Panther movie without Black Panther?
Because Black Panther don't eat pizza. We don't eat pizza.
That's right. As far as... No, I mean, I'll let you finish your point as far as the movie
I just
goes.
felt that there was too much of that stuff going on, too many of those things. They're just pulling you in too many directions without actually finishing that direction. I mean, like her, I look at it just didn't work.
She was entertaining.
She was at times, but so much of it just felt like it was forced.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that, and that's a big criticism with a lot of the Marvel stuff that I've seen where someone like the girl that was in Hawkeye, I can't remember her name, or even, Ironheart and stuff like that. All of a sudden, they go from, zero to, I know how to do all this stuff. There's no learning, like all of a sudden, Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop in Hawkeye is like, oh, wait, she knows how to freaking do Kung Fu?
I'm laughing because, Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri.
Yeah, Riri.
I thought you were being inappropriate, making a bad joke.
Oh, you thought I was like, oh, Riri.
That's why I kind of just blew over. I was like, yeah, so anyway. And you're like, Ironheart. I was
her name is Riri Williams.
I didn't think about I was like, shows where my head is.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Looking at this, you've got Okoye, is that how you say it?
Okoye, yeah.
Okoye. You've got her. They don't ever do anything with them. They kick her out, and then I get that, but I mean they just don't do anything with that line. And then the woman who she's they're with, they go all over the place without ever actually finishing anything.
Yeah, and a lot of people are talking about M'Baku. They didn't really use him that much. There was a lot of stuff to do.
It just feels like this entire phase, like you said, is they're just got a loose storyline that they're gonna follow, so that they can just throw things in there to set up the series that are on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and
it's we're using the series to set up the movies and using the movies to set up the series.
Yeah, and as far as I'm glad that they got out of that comedic tone.
Yes.
To go back to serious, because that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy from Marvel. As much as She-Hulk was entertaining, it was it's a comedy. Thor is a comedy. I enjoy the Falcon Winter Soldier and stuff where there's they could pepper in jokes here and there. But at the same time, I don't want it to be a freaking goof comedy fest.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that part of the reason some people, including myself, are so critical of the movie and their lack of character development and lack of actually wrapping up certain storylines within the movie because they're using it to set other stuff up, is just because I'm spoiled by some of the character development, the depth of character development you get through the series?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we're very we're at a point now where, how long have they been doing these Marvel movies, right?
Maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I remember perhaps more than that, Sean.
You think?
I know that when the first Iron Man came out, my daughter Violet was born. She's 14, so there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember when Violet was born, I was in the hospital. You
were in the hospital?
I was. My kid was there.
Oh.
But we were there, and I remember somebody going to us, "Hey, no, I think it was Zoe. It wasn't. Was it Zoe or Violet?"
Okay, let's look it up. I'll look it up. You continue.
If it was 2006, it was Zoe. If it was 2008, no, I think it was Violet because it was 2008. Yeah, they're like, "Hey, are you gonna go
2008?"
Yep. So it was Violet. They go, "Are you gonna go see that Iron Man movie that just came out?" And I'm like, "Iron Man, I guess." Now. Cut to 14 years later, but we're so conditioned. I think personally, now we're getting into sequels and trilogies, and there's a certain cast. To follow up Endgame is tough. Now we're getting into the second, third string people of the Shang-Chi's and the the Eternals, and they really haven't been. And there's some that definitely, like Doctor Strange, was a big disappointment for me.
Yeah. Well, and again, some of that is because they're using these shows to set up the next group, the next phase of Menudo, if you will.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to realize maybe that's because so many people were familiar. They knew who. If you didn't live under a rock, you knew, even a non-comic book fan, you knew who Iron Man was. You knew who Thor is. You knew who Captain America is. Even if you don't know their whole story, you knew who these people were. And, they used that in the beginning to hook us in, and then use those characters we were familiar with to introduce us to characters that, excuse me, that we were kind of familiar with. I kind of know who Black Panther is, but I don't know much about him. So would they throw him in?
Yeah.
All these other characters. Now they're like, well, we don't have these characters anymore because the actors who play them are going on to other things. We can't keep making those movies. So we need to call the next, generation of superheroes. But the problem is we're taking what the comics did, and it's like, here's a new generation, the next generation, but nobody knows who the hell they are.
Yeah.
So I get that they have to do all this in the movies to get us familiar, or get most people familiar, so that they continue to watch and be invested in what's going on. I just don't think they're doing a good job at it.
Yeah, I mean, like Marvel to me is like pizza. There's no such thing as bad pizza, right? So you of all the movies that I've seen, it's not
yes,
like
there is. I will feed you a pizza with pickles on it. Oh. Tell me. Oh, yeah. Challenge.
Or Little Caesars. Little Caesars can suck a dick. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, with the Marvel stuff, it's interesting. Like, at this point in the phases, like, I'm not rushing to go see them in the theater anymore.
No.
Like, I'll be like, especially now with Disney Plus, it's like, all right, you're going to put Doctor Strange on in 2 months? Like, Thor, Love and Thunder, I didn't go see it in the theater. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll catch it. I'll catch it when it goes on Disney Plus. And, I want to be invested in the storylines and stuff like that. And I want to, I was looking forward to Black Panther, just because it was set. It was the end of Phase 4. Well, it is the end of Phase 4. Now we're looking into, if you look at Quantumania, that whole thing, that looks like they're starting to right the ship and get back into that series. So we start talking about Kang, and we still have a big bad. Because really, Phase 4, we haven't had a big bad. All Phase 1, 2, and 3, it was like all from the beginning of the first Avengers. It was like, oh, Thanos is coming. Thanos is coming. They built that up, built it up. Now it's like Phase 4. There's nothing really to kind of, all right.
Mephisto.
Yeah, Mephisto, who never showed up.
But you know what? And that's the thing is, like, maybe in the end we're all going to be wrong. Maybe in the end what's going to happen is there'll be this big thing that happens that we all go, holy fuck, I got to go back and watch all, like when it was like, I got to go back and rewatch that piece of garbage Thor 2.
Yeah.
And realize, well, wow, now in retrospect with what's happened in the future or in the present, that movie actually makes sense and is actually a halfway decent movie in continuity.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they call the multiverse saga. So,
yes,
who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I always have faith in it. I think personally, it's just, as far as my thought on Wakanda Forever, I mean, I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me out of the water. I did like Namor. I did like the way that they did it. Or actually, it's Namor.
Namor.
Yeah, not Namor. I like he was. And I've heard people criticize him as far as the villains, like with Marvel movies, they always say, well, the villains are never as interesting, but I legitimately, when I was watching that movie with Namor, I was like, bitch has got a point, everything that he was fighting for, he was protecting his people.
Yes.
And as much as everybody's just like, yay, Black Panther, oh, we're bringing back, like, what he did by introducing, saying, hey, Wakanda was hidden off. It's not Atlantis. I forget the name of what Namor's place is. But these were all hidden from the world, and nobody knew about it. When Black Panther, at the end of the first one, where they're like, oh, we're going to open up, we're going to open up Wakanda for everybody, and they're going to see all the technology. What was interesting about the movie is now it's exactly what you would think would happen, is that, the United States and all these other countries are like, yo, we're going to get a hold of that freaking vibranium, and use it for different things. It was very similar to Iron Man, where like once he came out, I am Iron Man and all that shit, all the government and everybody wanted that, everybody wanted an Iron Man. So now everybody wants vibranium because it's freaking indestructible and all this stuff. So, Namor is going like, hey man, if we don't freaking kill these people up here, they're gonna take everything away from us. They're gonna. I'm just looking to protect.
They're all gonna come after us.
Yeah, and I just want to protect my people, and you want to protect your people, and in the end, they did form that sort of alliance. But I love how Namor's just like, well, I'm just biding my time because, Wakanda's gonna fuck it all up, and then we're just gonna have to come up and rise. So.
Well, they're now going to go after Wakanda, and Wakanda's going to come to us and go, we have an alliance, we need to help you, and then we're going to take over.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that point. I liked him as a protagonist. That was good. But like I said, everybody knew that Shuri was going to be the Black Panther.
Well, yeah.
Which I'm kind of like, all right, so she's young. She's what we're going to do, like...
For now. But
for now.
They're teeing you up with young T'Challa.
Yeah. So eventually down the line, I'm sure they'll recast it and stuff. I mean, it makes sense, now with they're definitely queuing up the Young Avengers, because you have the Kate Bishops, and now you have Riri, you have Ironheart, you have.
You keep saying Riri.
I know, it's Riri Williams. You have, Kate Bishop. What I was saying, Ironheart. Now you have, what's her name? Shuri is Black Panther, and now they're gonna have this young team, and Ms. Marvel and all that stuff. It could be interesting.
Even She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, I'd like to see them right the ship a little bit, and we're gonna be gearing up towards. It's just in the meantime, and at this point, I give it Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I would honestly give it 4 pals out of 5. Didn't blow me away. I liked the story of it.
Right.
Definitely where there's stuff like I'd like to see M'Baku be the king of Wakanda and have Shuri be the Black Panther.
Yes,
because it's always been the two. But at the same time, like I said, everybody's talking about. God, I can't think of her name now. Angela Bassett. Oh my God, she's gonna.
Oh yeah,
she was all right. I didn't think Oscar worthy. Okay,
I see her on 911.
Yeah. Bitch done bit it in the water.
I lost my family. No, anyway, it was okay.
It was all right. So yeah,
you give it 4, I'd give it maybe 3.
Okay, that's fair. Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, definitely if you get a chance, watch it on Disney Plus. I guess it's just so you know what's going on. I mean, I'm hopeful that Ant-Man Quantumania is going to be good. It looks good. I've never been a huge fan of the Ant-Man movies. First one, definitely good. Second one, This one's got Kang in it, and, I'm all yang, yang, yang for Kang, 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 so I'm all...
Kang, Kang, Kang! Look, we're going to find out. I'm telling you, we're going to find out. And before we move on really quick to the other movies we watched this week, we're going to find out that this whole Kang thing has been bubbling under the surface the whole time. I'm hoping that they've been really good at doing that all through the other phases. This almost I don't want to say a MacGuffin, but a misdirect of we got you looking over here thinking this. Maybe they're pointing us at Kang and they're going to fucking hit us in the face with Mephisto.
Maybe.
Don't know.
They're talking, it's so funny because every show that comes out, they're like...
Galactus. Mephisto.
Yeah, Galactus is... I mean,
Kang. Who's next? Who's another big bad?
Oh,
as you chew your ice.
Bam.
ASMR.
Besides those guys, I don't really know.
And that's the other problem is they're throwing so many bad guys at us at once. It's which one is the real bad guy we're supposed to be watching?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Anyway, other movies.
Would you like me to go, or you? I
don't care.
You had some Christmas. Well, the other one that I did.
Had Christmas ones.
You're all Christmassy, and when I told you Santa didn't come down on the freaking parade yet, so slow your fucking roll.
All right.
No.
Speaking of egg rolls.
Yeah, the other movie I did see this week was I finally got a chance to see Nope. The Jordan Peele jam.
So good.
It was.
Did you see it coming?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, it was interesting because in the beginning, I did put it on our Hey Pal What's New TikTok. First half of it, I was kind of like, all right, yeah, flying saucer. Okay, cool. By the second half, when the whole crowd gets sucked up by this thing, and they're getting digested, and I'm like, oh, it's on, motherfucker. It is on.
Dude,
when they start spitting out blood and it covers up the house, I'm like, oh,
I don't know where I saw it, but there was a whole behind the scenes thing that talks about how they came up with that concept of that alien, that being whatever it was in the sky.
Yeah, it was really cool because you're wondering why they're showing up, and then you do realize that Stephen Young freaking in that movie is awesome. That whole where the whole cold open with the chimp was just brutal,
Oh God.
And, he's all traumatized by that. And then he's like, basically, the reason the thing keeps coming back is because he keeps feeding them horses. Yeah. He's just like sending them out horses for his show.
Yep.
And he's like a washed up child actor. But like when they get sucked up in that thing and they show the woman, the girl that got mauled.
Yep.
You're just like, oh, God, because we've all heard those stories about the chimp that freaking goes wild. And, it was a good analogy of like, with animals, everybody's just like, oh, it's fine. But like, they're animals.
When they act the way they're supposed to, we go, oh my God, I can't believe it. We have to kill them.
Yeah, exactly. When it's just like, they're just doing what, like with the chimp.
Chimp doing what a chimp does.
Yeah. Oh, in that
Well, it's like the bears. It's like, oh, there's a bear. We got to get the bear. And people shoot. It's like, there was a story about, I hate to get so sidetracked, but there was a story about these bears that lived in this community, like that were in this neighborhood, these black bears, but they were so domesticated that they would literally walk up to the people in the town. The people in the town would be like, oh, hey, how's it going? And pet the bear. And the bear would be like, "Arr," and then walk away.
Yeah.
And this jogger was like, this, I don't know, hiker went out and shot the fucking bear and some of its cubs, like some of the cubs that were around. And like they're like trying to find out what happened. And this guy's in jail now because, for hunting out of season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. And people do get upset when it's like these animals attack. They're freaking, they're animals.
Can you believe that tiger attacked those guys? Who were those magicians? Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried and Roy. Yeah.
It's like everybody's like, I can't believe that they were those tigers. Like, yeah. They're fucking tigers.
And that was in the movie, too, where they talk about Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
But it was a great movie. I always enjoy, Get Out and Us were two movies that I was like...
I haven't seen the middle one. It was Get Out. Oh, Us. I haven't seen Us.
It was okay. It wasn't, we were so... And even Get Out at this, it was good. It wasn't like... It definitely was, I think the big thing with Get Out was that everybody was like, wait, the guy from Key and Peele is doing a horror movie and like black cultural thing, and it was good. And yeah, I mean,
the substitute teacher video guy.
Yeah,
A Ron.
You done messed up, A Ron. Yeah, no, it was the other one.
You go see Principal Mr. Oshak Hennessy. You mean O'Shaughnessy?
Yeah, but I really do enjoy, and that's a movie.
So would you say in those movies, since they kind of are like a trilogy to a degree, they're not connected yet? I don't think they are. There is. I've seen some theories about Us and what was the first one?
Get Out.
Get Out. That you can find the connection between those two, but not this one. So from listening to you, tell me if I'm wrong, you would say Nope, Get Out, and then Us, from best to worst.
Yeah, for my opinion, yeah. I mean, Get Out.
I will say I enjoyed Nope way more than I enjoyed Get Out.
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, it was a surprise for me because it was something that I was like, yeah, it looks good. I'll check it out, But then, like I said, the beginning of it, I was kind of bored. I was like, all right, what's going on here? Okay,
oh my
weird,
God, would you get to
thing.
it?
Yeah,
what's up with this monkey?
and then as soon as they sucked them up, and that was the most horrifying thing, watching them get. Yeah, oh yeah.
Even when they sucked up the freaking flags.
Yeah.
And we're going. I was like, okay, whatever. But with freaking, I keep wanting to call him Glenn. With fucking Glenn and his horse show. That was where everything just turned.
Yeah. Yeah, once because normally, the horse would go out and they'd eat the horse, and that was kind of his show.
That's the private pile scene.
And it was funny, too, because the ranch guy was like, yeah, I'm going to buy those horses back. And he's like, okay. No, you're not. Those are up in the sky. But that's the reason that alien kept coming back. When it morphed into that big, huge alien, I was kind of like, really? Okay. But other than that, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I definitely would give it a watch. I think that's another one is it coming out on the Peacock? It's definitely out streaming. I rented it.
It's out streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I definitely get a chance to watch it because it's
nice.
It's a Jordan Peele classic. But those are the only two movies that I watched this week.
So the two I watched, I'll start with the more gooder one. A Christmas Story Christmas.
Now, see, I didn't realize that was out.
Yeah. It's on streaming. I think it's on HBO Max. Could be wrong. I really enjoyed it. It's a nice nostalgic trip.
Okay.
And they almost beat for beat are copying the original one. It takes place in 1973.
Okay.
So now Ralphie's all grown up. He's got his own kids. He's married.